The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
Welcome in, everybody, for the first time in a long time. We are hosting Belly Up After Dark. We're very excited to have you here with us. If you're joining us live, make sure to jump in the chat. Make sure to jump in that live chat and let us know what you're thinking about all the things. We're going to talk some NFL and college football both today and start off with some college, or I guess some football news in general. I'm not alone. I've got some other Belly Up personalities with me. First, my co-host here on Rising to the Occasion. I've got Jeremy here with me. Jeremy, how you doing?
Cheers, everybody. I'm doing pretty good. Then it's been a long week. Then I'm glad we can get back around the invisible fire that we have over there and not on the camera. But I mean, we just got obviously a good setup for everybody tonight. Then it's just been absolutely crazy talking about the college football, then even going into the NFL. It's just been absolutely mind-boggling just because we've seen so many teams that we thought we were going to absolutely see completely steamroll in the league. Then it's been an absolute opposite and been a complete dumpster fire. But, I mean, even going to the college football, obviously, we got that wrapped up pretty much. Now we just got the bowl games. But I'm going to cut the chit-chat, Josh, because I know we got a lot of talking to do, and I'm also trying to enjoy this nice beer here. So
we've also got the man from the Corner Booth podcast himself, Jared Klim. Jared, how we doing, bro?
I'm good, man. Listen, it's nice to be the co-host for this instead of being the host.
Yeah.
Josh, you hit me up at like 4:00 today. You're like, hey, listen, let's
start it back up.
Yeah, and I'm like, all right, as long as I'm your sidekick and not the main superhero, I'm good with it. Me and Ryan just got off the Corner Booth 20 minutes ago. I literally stopped, cooked a pound and a half of kielbasa, poured a glass of Jack, and then we're back. That's just how it rolls at Belly Up. We're just here for the long run. So I'm excited. A lot of stuff to talk about with bro and college football right now. So
yeah, and at the time I didn't realize that you and Ryan were both going to be busy before this, but you both decided last minute to jump on with me as we were going to go down this endeavor.
Much appreciated.
But with him being mentioned, we also have Ryan McCarthy from No Credentials Required. Ryan, how are we doing tonight?
Hey, gentlemen. Doing pretty good. Josh, thanks for inviting me on and let me be a part of drinks and football talk.
Yeah, absolutely. It is Belly Up After Dark, so everybody, if you're joining in with us, make sure you grab your drink, maybe put the kids to bed first and grab a drink, relax, and let's talk some sports. And, here on Belly Up Dark, we're not only talking sports, we're going to talk all kinds of entertainment as we keep on going down this path. For now, we are always going to be live with Belly Up After Dark every first Thursday of each month here at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. That's 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. So make sure to tune in live with us every first Thursday of the month. And we've already got insert name FC kind of jumping in the chat there. Nice to see Belly Up After Dark is back. Absolutely. I'm excited. I'm glad because I didn't really get to be a part of it last time. I know that we had an emergency come up where I wasn't able to be on the one time that I was supposed to. But guys, let's start off. I guess let's go around the horn real quick because I see everybody's got a drink. So everybody go around the horn. I guess, Ryan, you kind of held yours up. What are you drinking over there, Ryan?
I've got a Two Fingers and Macallan 12. I got for my 40th birthday 6 years ago. I've barely got into it, but I figure it's a special occasion. Might as well break it out. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Macallan 12.
It's a nice, classy drink to have. And then, Jeremy, what do you got over there?
I got you actually introduced me to this drink, and ever since then, I've been in love with it. Unfortunately, we cannot get it up here in the state of Iowa. It is, correct me if I'm wrong, Boomer Schooner, correct?
Yeah, I think it's the Boomers. Yeah, I'm trying to think of what the actual name of it is, but it's the Schooner. It's an Oklahoma
Sooners beer.
Yeah, it's an Oklahoma Sooners beer. We get it down in Norman.
Yeah, I got introduced to it when we went down to Norman for my first time. Then obviously Josh's millionth time. Then he told me give this a try, and then I said okay. Never had this before. Cracked it open. I thought I had a 12-pack sitting next to me. So
that was the first time I had it that time too. So I had to make sure to stock up and bring it back with me. But yeah. Jared, how about you? What are you drinking tonight?
I went a little OG, a little simple tonight. I poured a little glass of Gentleman Jack. I've actually never, as much as I've dropped probably at least 15 to 30 bottles minimum in the last 5 years of Jack Daniels. Never had Gentleman Jack. I'm very impressed so far. I'm chasing that with a little switch drift pineapple juice, which is phenomenal as well. Got to make sure it's even keel and balance. But dude, honestly, I'm not gonna lie, Gentleman Jack kind of slaps for how cheap it is.
Yeah. I mean, I can't remember. I know I've tried Gentleman Jack. I don't remember the last time, but
it's a weird flavor, but it's good. It's an it's.
I'm not for
how do I put it this way to describe it? It's Tua, tongue of Iloa. You're like you weirdly like it, but you're like, I shouldn't, but this is good. Like
That's a
the
perfect.
mechanics throwing
That's
off,
a great explanation.
the injuries, everything. But like, it's visually appealing. It's a good quarterback. It's a good whiskey. I'm not gonna lie, Gentleman Jack. I'm impressed. I didn't think I was going to be.
I like it. I like it. I'm just drinking something that it's darker than any beer I think I may have
Darker
ever.
than the dirt outside.
I can't see through it at all, even holding it up to the light. So it's very dark. I don't know how to pronounce the brand or anything, but it's in my beer advent calendar. And it's pronounced a smoke beer. And so I don't know what that means. It's almost a stout, but not quite as heavy. Very very dark though.
Definitely looks like a Schwartz beer. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, very similar.
Dark lager.
A lot of flavor to it too.
The funny thing is, when you cracked open the can, I took a little sip of it. I don't know what made me think of it, but when I smelt it, it smelled like bacon.
It definitely has a smoky flavor to it and a smell. But I'm also seeing Cold Iron in the chat. I'm also seeing Mike Berlin in the chat. And then Sports Stove, we got them in the chat too. I love me a sun drop on the rocks, he says. And then What's Good Boys from Mike Berlin. Glad to see everybody from Belly Up joining us here in the chat tonight too. But guys, let's get into the topics at hand. We'll start off with our NFL favorites. We're going to start off with the division favorites, and then we're going to jump into the Super Bowl favorites. Let's start off in the AFC East, and let's jump over, I think, with Jared first. I'm going to kick it over to you, Jared. Who's your favorite over there in the AFC East right now?
Well, we got an analogy of how this division is going by watching Tyreek Hill blow by St. Juice in that Commanders-Dolphins game. The Dolphins are running away with this division so badly, it's getting sad. The Buffalo Bills coach is now making 9/11 references, not even for the right side. The Patriots, I think Bill's already thinking about his time as the Los Angeles Chargers head coach, and the Jets are too busy tanking their own quarterback. So it's the Dolphins literally were handed the easiest deck of cards and said, hey, don't screw this up. So yeah, they're walking away with this division.
Yeah, I like that quite a bit. Let's jump over to you, Ryan. Who you got right now in the AFC East?
It's Miami's to lose. I just
Definitely
for the life of me, it's the running theme of my show. The Bills seemingly have no identity. We don't know who they are. The offense runs through Josh Allen, and they have other than Josh Allen, they have really no running game. And neither the Jets, my Jets, I'm very sad about, and nor the Jets or the Patriots can find the end zone. I mean, with the exception tonight with the Pats, Zeke Elliott scored a touchdown. Who knew that was coming? But neither the Jets nor the Patriots can seem to find the end zone if it jumped up and bit them in the face. So this is Miami's to win.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with you. Jeremy, who are you feeling right now? Are you kind of on the same board? Are you thinking Miami up at the top?
I might get 3 for 3. I mean, if you look at Miami, like you guys have both said, literally just throw it. Just watch Tyreek Hill just do the rest. Then the Buffalo Bills, I'm a Cincinnati Bengals fan, and when we went against the Buffalo Bills, I was not looking forward to that expectation. But I mean, looking at this division, if you don't look at Miami just running away with it outside of Tyreek Hill getting a NFL media intern who was his friend fired, and thankfully Tyreek Hill is at least paying for all the fines and stuff. But I mean, Miami, it's just sincerely their thing to lose here at this point. But Josh, if I had to guess, we're already 3 for 3 here. Are you going to make it 4 for 4 here?
I'm going to break it up a little bit. I'm going to pick the Buffalo Bills only because I see the potential in what they have. We all know who the Buffalo Bills are, and we also know who the Miami Dolphins are. They just tend to blow it in certain key moments. And so I do agree with all three of you. I think the Miami obviously has the lead right now, and with what Ryan said, it is theirs to lose. But my favorite right now, I'm picking the Buffalo Bills just because I know the talent that they have. They're making changes to try to make things better there, and maybe that's not a good thing right now. But I look at the Bills. I think they have enough talent. I believe in Josh Allen to turn things around. He's looked absolutely horrible this year, and then Stephon Diggs with all the drama there. But I believe in them to be able to turn things around. And, of course, I guess with Von Miller, too, kind of adding to the mixture, not helping out at all there. But I believe in the Buffalo Bills and that organization enough to turn things around. So I think they end up squeezing it out. I think they end up coming away with it towards the end. But it's tough to say anyone other than Miami right now, just because, like you guys said, it is absolutely theirs to lose. There's no way that they could really blow it. I'm kind of surprised that Ryan wouldn't have maybe picked his Jets to go on some kind of crazy streak and enough chaos to happen to put them up in the lead.
Like Kylo Ren said in the look what Kylo Ren said like Kylo Ren said in what was it, the Force Awakens. I just want to be rid of this pain. I just want the season to be over.
I feel you, man.
Ryan, do you guys did Zach Wilson get the starting QB job again for you guys, or is this still up in the air?
Yep.
Okay.
Nope.
I mean,
he's the QB the rest of Coach Dallas said that he's the QB for the rest of the season, barring injury.
How do you give your opinion for Zach Wilson getting the start again? Because he was obviously the starting again, then he got put completely to the third string, and now he gets the starting job again. Give me your honest opinion on, do you think he is the guy that should be the starting quarterback for, obviously I know now he is going to be the quarterback for the starter for the remainder of the season, but give me your honest opinion. Do you think he belongs there?
By default, yes, because Tim Boyle was clearly not an NFL quarterback. Never was. Never should have been on that squad in the first place. And Trevor Siemian didn't do himself any favors by not doing a good job when he got put into the game. So I said this on Twitter the other day. Tim Boyle and Trevor Siemian were the numbers of two quarterbacks for the Jets that I grew up watching. Kenny O'Brien, Richard Todd. I'm that old. Neither of them deserved to wear those numbers based on how they played on Sunday alone. And you could tell, I don't know how often Trevor Siemian gets a start. Tim Boyle, I don't know why he belonged in the squad. I think he was Aaron Rodgers' backup last year in Green Bay, so he just got there because Aaron Rodgers wanted him. So, yeah, unfortunately by default, Zach Wilson is the quarterback of this team. Hey, well, they picked up Brett Rippon to back him up. So,
yeah,
I
think I agree with you too.
We might see 6 quarterbacks on this roster again this year. So it's like, oh, here we go again.
It's like the inverse John Gruden. He collects quarterbacks. They're all terrible.
Yeah.
All right, guys, let's jump over to the AFC North. For me, I think this one's easy. I'm assuming it's probably going to just go around table. Anyone not picking the Ravens for the AFC North right now?
No, I'm just kidding.
He wants to pick the Bengals.
Let the Uncle Ed jersey behind me kind of lead you in that direction.
Yeah, there we go.
There you go. There you go.
There we go.
Let the Uncle Ed Miami jersey lead you in that direction. It's the Ravens. They were my Super Bowl AFC pick since day one. So, yeah.
How about you, Ryan? You still feeling the same?
Yeah, Ravens.
They're so far ahead. I don't see how they fall behind, but a clean sweep.
Sadly, yes.
Yeah, that's what I figured. So, yeah, I mean, looking at AFC North just seems way too easy this year. Lamar Jackson's playing the way that Lamar Jackson should be playing. Even without Mark Andrews, their offense still keeps on continuing to chive and kind of go together and everything there. And then the defense, you can't really say too much more than just looking at their defense and seeing the guys that they've got. They're a great squad. But let's jump over to the AFC South. Who do we got for the AFC South? Jared, I'll let you start this one off.
Listen, you talked to me 2 weeks ago. I was like, all right, it's Jacksonville and Dougie P. Mr. Visor's division lose. But now you got Trev possibly missing this weekend. Give me the fucking Texans.
Really?
I had them as an 8. I had them as an 8-win team when we did our football preview. I think Josh, you were on that show.
Yeah.
And I said, listen, they have an easy schedule. CJ Stroud is the next Aaron Rodgers. I've been saying this since day one of the draft previews because I have this tape. And now they've got Damian Pierce back, healthy and ready to roll. Yes, the loss of Tango is terrible, but you have the emergence of Noah Brown, and you also have Nico Collins playing out of his mind, and John Mechie. And D'Amico Ryans has these boys believing. Now, they're not going to win anything past the first round of the playoffs. But this division, easy. They can easily do this. I think they win this division at 11 and 6 or 11-7, whatever the hell the rule, whatever.
11-7.
They win out. That is the crazy
11-6.
thing. They may end up winning out, and that's the wildest thing to me.
Ryan, what
yeah,
about you?
yeah, Ryan, what are you feeling? Are you going to jump on the little underdog there in the Houston Texans?
I am going to jump on the underdog, but I'm going to jump on another team for the underdog, Indianapolis.
I like it.
They're playing strong. Shane Steichen's. Look, it's going to be Coach of the Year is going to be either Shane Steichen or D'Amico Ryans. There's no two ways about it. I mean, you could argue Kyle Shanahan, you could argue John Harbaugh. Yeah, good for them. They got teams they got squads who've been built to be winners consistently, time and time again. But you got two first-year head coaches. One with a rookie quarterback who is playing out of his mind right now, and another team that is as a strong running game is playing with I guess you would say career backup because their rookie was injured early in the season, and they're playing with a defense that is aggressive and they're fast and they play fast. So uh, I think the Jaguars will win the division, but it's going to be very very close because I think the Colts are the team. I like the Texans for the reasons that Jared said, but I'm worried about a lot of the injuries that are starting to pile up for them. So I'm hoping for a wild card for them because I like the Texans.
Yeah, yeah.
I like them a lot, but I think the Colts could challenge the Jaguars for that division crown.
Yeah, and I'm right there with both of you guys because I look at those two teams. Those are the two teams that you really have to look at and think they've got a really good shot. And with it's only because of Trevor going down you just really start to question how good this team can be without him. And it's tough looking at that, but kind of looking at the Houston schedule. Houston's got looks like the Titans 2 times, and then they've got the Browns and the Colts. So looking at that schedule, I feel like that's a schedule they can handle. Other than I think it comes down to the Colts, and then for the Colts on the other hand, they've got the Bengals, Steelers, Falcons, Raiders, and then the Texans. So really, both of them I feel like have a really good shot. I am leaning more towards the Colts right now, and I think it's going to be tough between them and the Jags, but I'm kind of leaning with Ryan right now. I'm picking the Colts right now as my favorite just because of how good they're playing with Gardner Minshew coming in. They don't even have their rookie quarterback. They don't even have Jonathan Taylor in the game right now. The Colts just look really good, and I like what I'm seeing over there from Indianapolis and what they've been able to piece together here towards the back end of the season. But, Jeremy, how about you?
I mean, realistically, as much as how much the Jacksonville Jaguars have started out this season, I was realistically thinking, obviously, the Jags, but now, obviously, like everyone's mentioned, what's Trevor Lawrence's situation going to be like? Is he going to be 100%? Is he going to be 50%? We don't necessarily know just because, obviously, we haven't seen anything pop out of the news yet. Like, I was sincerely thinking if this injury didn't happen, Jacksonville all the way. But this has really gotten to my thoughts of now that Trevor Lawrence is hurt here and the Indianapolis Colts are right on their tail here, hell, we don't know exactly what's going to be going on here just because I think the Colts, they can definitely be brewing something. It's like you mentioned, Josh, without Jonathan Taylor playing, they're still producing really, really good, strong numbers in this game here. Like, overall, realistically, like I said at the top of the hour, I was thinking Jacksonville's just going to completely run away with this, but I'm almost kind of more leaning towards a little bit of the Colts here in this situation. So who knows, really?
Yeah. I mean,
this
it's
division
a fun division.
It's fun. It's a fun to. I was going to say the same thing. It's a fun division to watch.
Oh yeah, this is definitely a fun one.
So I gotta ask, before we go off, like, what is it about the Texans that you guys have apprehensive? Because maybe it's because I'm an Eagles fan and that I watched Gardner Minshew almost lose us the division last year with 2 abysmal performances in the fourth quarter against the Saints and Cowboys. Everyone forgets he played a great first 3 quarters against Dallas and then just airmailed about 30 passes in a row, including the game winner to A.J. Brown, and then threw the worst pick 6 I've ever seen to the Saints. And I look at him with a worse supporting cast in Indy. Yes, Indy's played great, but they've also played a lot of bad teams. The Texans have beaten some good rosters and would be tied for the division lead right now if it wasn't for kickers' lives not mattering.
No, I'm right there with you.
Amendola.
I definitely think the Texans are up there in the mix, and I'm not counting them out whatsoever. It's just if I have to lean one way or the other, I think it really comes down to that last game, and that's what makes this division so much more fun is that it could come down to that last game there.
I sincerely think it's going to.
And I'm just barely leaning Indy because of what they're doing without their star talent, and I think that's what's most impressive to me is that no matter who's out, no matter who's going down, they just keep on bouncing back. Where the Texans, if you have one thing go wrong with the Texans, I don't know if they're the same team the way that the Colts can be.
I mean, also I didn't mention it, but like Derek Stingley, who's the number 3 pick, 2 years ago, is having like an All-Pro level season.
Yeah,
That
true.
is true.
Very true. And I think the Houston Texans are right up there in the mix. For me, it's a coin flip between the two of who has the best chance. And I think, like I said, it ultimately comes down to the last game.
Yeah, realistically.
So judging how the next couple off seasons go, they will be the best team in the AFC within the next 3 years.
I think so, and I think they're making the right
will
moves right now
run
for
this
sure.
conference.
Yeah,
And I think it scares the shit out of Baltimore and Kansas City. It really
for
does,
sure.
because you look at them like CJ Stroud is a year and a half to 2 years ahead of what he should have been, and you're going to have Tank Dell, Nico Collins, and Noah Brown, and that's just all young guys. Pierce, Singletary, and then you go on the defense. You have a bunch of young guys who are hungry with Will Anderson, Stingley. Dude, the Texans are dangerous, and that's what scares the hell out of a lot of people in the conference.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I look at the Texans. I think I'm picking the Texans in the long run. I don't really believe that the Colts are putting together a winning roster or really anything pieced around anything. They just haven't made a good move in several years, and especially even looking at what they've done, kind of running Jonathan Taylor away, and the fact that he still hasn't been traded and couldn't find anything for him. And
It's mind-boggling.
there's a lot that goes into that. But let's jump over to the AFC West. I don't think there's much of a question on this one either. Anyone picking against the Chiefs?
No, but I do have something to add about the Broncos, though. And I think they have a chance to make a run. Looking at their schedule, they got the Chargers this week, the Lions the following week, then they have the Patriots, the Chargers again, and the Raiders. If they win 4 out of those 5 games, I think they have a chance to win the wild card. And coming back from their abysmal start, they would start at 1-5?
Yep.
And they go on that run where they win 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a row. And they lost to the Texans last week, but they didn't lose by much. It came down to a drive in the last minute where Russell Wilson led them down the field, threw a pick, what looked like a pretty busted play. But they have an opportunity to win 4 of the last 5 games and earn a wild card spot. I'm going to be intrigued to see what they do for the next 5 weeks this season.
Yeah, and that's interesting too because I think that's a schedule that you very easily could do that if you keep on playing the way that you're playing. But I guess what's up?
The only loss they have there is the Lions.
Yeah,
They honestly went out.
yeah.
Besides
I mean,
that.
Well, I said 4 to 5. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I agree with you completely. I was listening while I was trying to respond to somebody. I'm like, oh my God, like they actually could win 4 out of 5.
Yeah.
ending the
that's
season.
really crazy to think
And
of.
I
And
have
like
been
you said,
shitting on the Broncos for 3 straight years now. I'm a big Russell Wilson hater, so
Jared,
I'm eating my words this year.
you're not the only one that has shit on the Broncos here because literally my best friend Carson, he's a diehard Broncos fan, and I talked to him after like week 3 or week 4. I'm like, where do you see the Broncos going going through the rest of the season? This is his honest word, an absolute shit show. And I told him, like, you can never know. I mean, the Broncos can absolutely turn this thing around, and I'm not trying to be God or jinx anything. Just the Broncos have absolutely come out and just mind-boggled all of us, if I had to say the least. I mean, look at Russell Wilson. Like this is the time that we're seeing Russell Wilson being traditional Russell Wilson. Like I understand he's not still in like the full gone scrambling ability, but I mean, you see Russell Wilson make those rollout plays to where you see a stable play that's supposed to be like what it normally is. Then he's finally getting out there and not scrambling a little bit, and he's actually connecting like Jerry Jeudy or anybody out there in Denver on the White House for the Denver Broncos. I mean, they're absolutely making, I wouldn't say a complete mockery of how their beginning half of the season are, but realistically, they're making a lot of people actually like think, shit, we should actually just slow our roll here a little bit about the Denver Broncos.
Yeah,
because
I mean, let's not completely pump the brakes here. They're still a flawed team, but they are playing a lot better than they were before.
Absolutely.
well, think of it this way: they trade Brendan Chubb last year. They released Randy Gregory with their 2 edge rushers, and you think, oh my God, there goes the season, and all of a sudden they go on a 5-game run after they release Randy Gregory, and look where they are now. They're on the cusp of a wild card spot, and they have a very good chance to be.
I mean, they're about to jack it from the damn Steelers. Holy crap! They're down. Steelers down 21-3 right now.
Yeah. Wow. Oh, really? I haven't even checked the score.
I did say in the corner booth.
Crazy.
Ryan was witness. I said over 2.5 touchdowns for this game. Apparently, Bailey Zappi heard me, so we're rolling.
Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I mean that's another. It's another division that's interesting, I guess, just because of what you brought up, Ryan, is how the Broncos could kind of make an almost historic comeback from their season. Looking at how they started to how they end. But let's jump over to the NFC. We've got the NFC East. Looking at you, Jared, I think I know who you're going to pick, but it is starting to shake up a little bit closer than what we might have expected maybe a couple weeks ago. Are you still sticking with your Eagles in the NFC East?
So, unfortunately, the Eagles got screwed with their timing of their games. Not the opponents, the timing.
Yeah, definitely.
3 games 100%. In 13 days. Absolutely horrible. I wouldn't wish that on any team. To the fact that they won 2 out of 3 is awesome. Nothing is more dangerous to the NFL than a pissed off Jalen Hurts. I think we talked about this on the show earlier. It is going to be close in Dallas. Dak is electric. He's having an MVP year, and he's not going to be the reason Dallas loses. I think the reason Dallas loses, Deron Bland has been exposed for what he is as a opportunistic corner. He's a poor man's Trayvon Diggs, and AJ and Devontae Smith and Julio Quez, the return of Dallas Goedert after they tried to break his forearm. I think Dallas will be a force as a wild card team. But I think the biggest problem is that Philadelphia is pissed, and that's the biggest problem. If Philadelphia had sneakily won or even lost by a field goal, it wouldn't be a problem. But they got whooped. Like, it was bad. Like, I shut the game off at halfway through the fourth quarter. I haven't shut off an Eagles game early in almost a decade. And the fact that this was that bad. Oh, no, that's a lie. Eagles Cowboys Monday Night Football 2 years ago when Trayvon Diggs had his signature pick six. Anyway, a pissed off Eagles team is dangerous. And the fact is they get Dallas as their rebound game. This game is going to be ugly, sloppy, penalty-ridden, and I think it's going to come down to which quarterback makes the least mistakes. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, I trust Jalen in that department, history-wise, over Dak. This season, Dak's been better, but
he has.
Listen, Shaquille Leonard is going to make a difference in this defense. Leadership and schematics-wise, he gives them a whole new set of plays in that defense. Sean Desai can have his guys actually drop and play real coverage instead of shielding the linebackers. I think the Philadelphia Eagles win. This is the division right here. This game is the division.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think after this play Geno and then the Giants, and they're about to chop up Tommy Cutlets.
Yeah, I mean it's coming down to it for the Eagles too, and you really have to close out this season really strong. I also think you look at their schedule; they've had one of the toughest schedules in all of the league, and they've put together wins in that tough schedule. So looking at what they've been able to fight through, I really like what the Eagles are doing. Jeremy, are you liking the Eagles over there in the NFC East as well?
Yeah, I'm liking the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, if you got a quarterback that can squat 600 freaking pounds on there, and you have him at your QB position, I would be absolutely horrified of the Philadelphia Eagles. But I will also agree with going on to the Dallas Cowboys. The only thing outside of what you said that will defeat the Dallas Cowboys if Stephen A. Smith gets in the Dallas Cowboys' head. That's about all I can really say. I mean, I will have to sincerely admit, if the Dallas Cowboys lose, that's the first thing I look up on social media is what's Stephen A. Smith always has to say, and we always know it's going to be dude, that I'm not gonna lie, that always gets me rolling.
I'll come on Belly Up. Listen, if the Eagles end up winning, I will come on Belly Up and Belly Up After Dark next week or next month with a honking cigar, cowboy hat on, and just ready to fucking rip them. I'll do it. I don't give a fuck. Like that's a normal Saturday night for me. So I'm one of the few guys in Connecticut who wears cowboy boots for comfort. So I will happily do that. And I smoke cigars like a freaking fiend. Just ask all of our summer shows. I'm always outside smoking one. So I will literally record the show outside in 30-degree weather, smoking a cigar and a cowboy hat. I will do it.
There you go.
I want you smoking your cigar inside. That's gonna
Hell no.
show that you're a true cowboy.
I move out in 2 months. Why would I screw up my everything I'm getting out of here? Okay, I'm not trying to kill myself leaving.
But Ryan, how are you feeling over there in the NFC East? Anybody going to upset the Eagles?
Giants. Just kidding.
I thought you were going to say the Commanders.
Range reset a little bit.
The command skins. That's like I call them the command skins, just based on the last.
They're on the dead skins,
So I'm looking at the schedules. Dallas has a tougher of the two schedules. So they're playing the Eagles on Sunday, but then they're at the Bills, at the Dolphins, home against the Lions, and then at the command skins to wrap things up.
Good luck.
Philly has Cowboys on Sunday, then they're at Seattle, and the last three games are Giants, Cardinals, Giants. Judging from the schedule, unless the Philadelphia offense completely collapses into the Atlantic Ocean, which I don't see doing, I think this game is going to be a good get-right game for them, although I see Dallas winning it. But based on the schedules I'm seeing, I think Philadelphia has a better opportunity to win that division just based on the last three games of their schedule. Dallas has a tougher schedule. Philly does not. They got the Giants bookending games with the Cardinals sandwich in between, and I don't see them losing out from that particular end of the schedule. I think Philadelphia wins the division, and Dallas will have a wild card spot because I said it. This is a running theme on my show. The Cowboys have not impressed me. They have beaten two teams with an over 500 record, and one of those teams was 1-0 in week 2. They're not
Jets.
built against my Jets. They're not built. They're not built to go to. They're not built to go to the championship division, the conference championship, or the Super Bowl. They're built to go to the wild card and the divisional round, and then that's it. They flatline.
Ryan, what was the one thing I said during this when we were talking about this game in the corner booth pregame? I said the one thing Dallas lacks, and this is the thing they're going to regret, is they lost their power running game. It is what made them so deadly on offense because they could control clock. I don't fear Tony Pollard. Just look at fantasy stats. We're all in the belly of fantasy league. We know what he does. It's jack shit. They're using all their running backs are about the size of Josh or smaller, and the thing is, you can't control clock with speed running backs. It's a fact of football. Physicality in the fourth quarter is what seals games. And with Dallas, the biggest thing as an Eagles fan I feared was Zeke Elliott. Zeke controlled clock. Zeke got yardage. Zeke broke tackles and wore down our defense. With Tony Pollard, I mean, yeah, I'm worried about him breaking a 60-yarder, but if somebody wraps him up on the backfield, he's more likely to fumble than break one. So with Dallas, you took their best part of their offense was their power, right? Yes, CD is incredible. He has earned that top 10 receiver moniker. But besides him, you're really going to tell me dollar store Dalton Schultz, a.k.a. Jake Ferguson, is really a tight end I should fear? Or Michael Gallup, who's dollar store Quez Watkins? Or, listen, the ghost, formerly known as Brandon Cooks. Listen, Dak is playing great with average weapons against mediocre opponents. Jesus, he basically plays quarterback for the University of Ohio State. That being said, college jokes aside, it really next couple weeks going to really show what Dallas's brew is made of. Let's see if they really actually got it. Because they're going into what Philadelphia just got out of.
Yeah. I mean,
I guess we're kind of handing the torch off this Sunday. Yeah,
I mean, and looking at the two, I mean, I'm going to make it a clean sweep. I think I already kind of made it clear. I'm right there with everybody. I think the Eagles have it. I mean, looking at it, it's just it's tough to bet against them. And like you said too, you and I talk about this all the time whenever we get together, like talking about Jalen Hurts and a pissed off Jalen Hurts is not something you want to mess with. So I like the Eagles quite a bit. But let's go over to the NFC North. I'll start off with mine. I'm going to say the Lions just because I think they've got the lead and it's theirs to lose, much like what we were talking about with the Miami Dolphins. But how about the Packers right now? Because they're on a roll and they're looking really good. And looking at their schedule is the only reason why I would even consider them. I think the Lions went out, and the Lions are my pick to win, in their division. But looking at the North right now with the Packers, they've got the Bucks, then the Panthers, Vikings, and the Bears. That's who's left on their schedule. I like that schedule for them a lot, and so I think they can finish with a really good look to the end of their season. I think, I'm sorry, I forgot to throw in the Giants in there as well. So, I honestly feel like you win 4 of those 5 games, and you're looking at a really good spot right now. I don't think they go anywhere in the playoffs. But with that being said, I'm going to pick the Lions to win the NFC North, but I think the Packers are a team to take a look at. But Ryan, let's kick it over to you. Who are you taking in the NFC North?
I'm taking the Lions. It's only because, but I see your point about the Packers being basically right behind them. And a few months ago, I would have said Detroit is definitely a contender to win not only the division, but also the NFC. Period. They look that good. But over the past 4 weeks, I see them having a pattern of playing down to their opponents. They nearly lost to the Bears at home. They laid an egg against the Packers on Thanksgiving Day. They blew a 21-point lead against the New Orleans Saints. The New Orleans Saints of all teams. And now the rest of their schedule is at the Bears, which I think they could possibly lose that game. Then they host the Broncos. Then they have a sandwich. They have a Viking sandwich with the Cowboys in between. They're at the Cowboys. Mm-hmm. But that schedule for Green Bay definitely favors them. If Detroit happens to lose 2, maybe 3 of those games in those remaining 5 weeks, the Packers could catch up to them. I think Detroit still wins the division, but it's going to be by the skin of their teeth. And they had such a comfortable lead a month ago, and now it's looking like it could collapse very quickly.
Yeah, it's just crazy to see a team that's so far behind with such a great shot to take over. And how terrible for the entire division is that if everyone's cheering that Aaron Rodgers is finally gone, and then they make the miracle comeback and still win the division. That would just be absolutely insane. But Jeremy, what are you feeling right now with the NFC North?
I mean, realistically, obviously we were talking about the Detroit Lions. I mean, they've been playing great. But I want to just throw this out there. I mean, think about what I'm gonna throw the Minnesota Vikings here in the picture with what Aaron Dobbs has done since transferring from the Falcons to the Vikings. Then having probably the time of his life here and beating his former team the week getting traded. I mean, don't get me wrong, Aaron Dobbs, this is something for the Minnesota Vikings that
Josh Dobbs.
I keep saying Aaron Dobbs, but
Aaron Rodgers.
And it was Cardinals
shit.
And he had to trade from the Cardinals.
Yeah, no kidding. But realistically thinking here, think about it. He went there and beat them. That was probably a really good homecoming for him. And now thinking about it, this is something Minnesota Vikings fans have actually wanted to see because this is a quarterback that can actually move. We haven't seen Minnesota been able to be mobile at the quarterback position because we've obviously seen Kirk Cousins. He's just like the Statue of Liberty, just standing there. And I think if Dobbs keeps doing the way that he does, I mean, you can't sleep on I don't know what their schedule looks like. Don't get me wrong, but also like you guys have mentioned with the Green Bay Packers and getting this late spree going on this train here, I don't necessarily want to say it's up in the air, but I mean, realistically, like I said, I'm still sticking with Detroit that they're going to win out here.
Yep.
But between these two teams right below them, I mean, don't get me wrong, the Minnesota Vikings are 6-6, and so are obviously the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, they have just as much of a chance, and they do have a chance to take out the Lions twice now.
Yeah.
Because they have the Lions twice, and they also have a chance to take out the Packers.
Yeah.
And then they've got the Bengals and Raiders outside of that. So, yeah, I mean, it's definitely up in the air there. I mean,
You
that's
never know.
that's a that would be another crazy possibility.
No shit.
But Jared, who are you picking there for the North?
As much as I want to start cranking Creed right now, I got to go with Lions. And here's the biggest problem that everyone's ignoring is that the Lions are easily the scrappiest team out of everybody. I mean, listen, the Packers played a great game against Kansas City. But then Kansas City is known for playing down to their competition, just like Detroit. What gives Detroit the edge is they have the best quarterback in this division by a country mile now that Kirk Cousins is out, right?
Mm-hmm.
They have the best receiving core. They have I would say, I'd give them the best running back core right now. I mean, Aaron Jones is never healthy, so you give me Montgomery, who's playing out of his mind, and Jahmyr Gibbs, I take that. And then you have the best tight end in the division in Sam Laporta, who, by the way, if you haven't drafted him in fantasy, what the hell are you doing? 3 leagues, I own him, by the way. Listen, you tell me a tight end gets drafted by Motor City Dan Campbell, this kid's going to be a star. That being said, the problem is the Lions have just so much ammunition and gas behind them.
That is true.
Yeah.
That's the basic. Everyone's ignoring the fact that certain teams may go through rough patches, and I noticed this. We get to this point of the season every year. Josh, I think you were on my show last year. We talked about this. There's a couple teams that were kind of in between, that were kind of falling off, and we talked about it. There's something about having gas in the tank and a storyline. And two of those teams are Philadelphia and Detroit. Detroit is the redemption story, right? They haven't been this good of a team since the '60s. Philadelphia's is the revenge tour. You can talk about all these upcoming teams you want. Not everyone's the 2011 New York Giants, okay? Not everyone's going to come out of nowhere at 8, 9, and 7 and make the playoffs and win a Super Bowl. 80% of the time, these teams fall short. That being said, I think the Vikings are more deadly to me than the Packers. I think everyone's overlooking this game a lot. I think there's a lot of teams that are going to be the next 5 weeks can be interesting because you're going to have a lot of teams like the Broncos, Packers, Chargers, who are kind of you're going to see who's really a real team and who just had a couple lucky wins.
No, yeah, I'm right there with you, and I think it's a clean sweep overall. I think all of us are assuming that the Lions finish off with a better record and end up winning that division. But let's make these last two a little quicker. I don't really have a whole lot to say on the NFC South. I think the whole division is garbage. I'm going to pick the Bucks for the NFC South. Jeremy, who do you got in the NFC South?
Baker Mayfield, baby. Let's go with the Bucks.
Alrighty, Jared, who are you taking there? Jared?
Me, I'm taking Baker Mayfield.
Yeah,
my division pick for the start was the Bucks. So
shake and bake.
Yeah, he's
shake and bake.
And the thing is, too, is he's performing well, but not great. I wouldn't even put him up good. He's filling the role that they need right now, and the whole team just isn't looking as great as what I think some would have expected in that division. But Ryan, how about you?
I'm going to be the contrarian here. I'm going to go with the Falcons. Shout out to Stacey Morgan. Easier schedule. That's right. Easier schedule. They got after the Buccaneers this week, at home against the Buccaneers, who they already beat during the season.
Yeah.
They're at the Panthers, home against the Colts, at the Bears, at the Saints to finish up the season. So I'm basing off their schedule, but I think if Atlanta has the clean sweep, and then they win 3 of the next 4 games, they win the division.
Yeah, that's a division that I'm not putting any money on because I don't have faith in any of those teams to win out.
Yeah.
My faith in who's the best quarterback in the division, and strangely enough, it's Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. I mean, I think it's a simple pick too. I think Derek Carr's up there, but he's just, I don't think he's that. I don't know. I never saw it with Derek Carr.
He's a Baker. He's a Baker, all right, but he makes turnovers.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not great.
Well, I mean, also his back is in 45 pieces at this point. The poor guy just can't catch a break.
No.
He goes from one bad O line to another. He literally follows in his brother's footsteps in his CTE of taking Mariota over Hurts, but that's a whole story.
Man, yeah, but let's go over to the NFC West. I'll start us off with that one, San Fran. I don't think it's too hard to pick that one. Ryan, what are you feeling?
Yeah, Niners. Game of the
Niners.
year, I think, is going to be on Christmas night. Niners and Ravens. That's
Yeah,
gonna be a fun
that'll
game.
be a
That'll be
really
good.
fun one. That'll be
Possible
really
Super
fun.
Bowl preview.
Niners.
It could be. You're picking Niners too, Jared?
Oh yeah. Oh, dude, you came. I just watched them whoop my team last week.
I gotta pick the Niners.
Shit. Like, no, Arizona Cardinals.
It's okay.
Jeremy, you clean sweep.
Mr. Irrelevant who kiss my ass.
Yeah.
We're all sticking with the 49ers.
Yep, we're going 49ers all
I do
across the
think
board
hype
there.
train is a little overhyped on a fatigued Eagles team taking on a pissed off Niners team, but I still think they are the best team in the NFC in the regular season. Let's see how they perform when it actually counts.
Right.
Yeah, when it actually counts, that's really what it all
That'll be the
comes
fun
down to.
part.
So let's go to Super Bowl favorites. Now that we've gone through the divisions, who do we have as our Super Bowl favorites here? Ryan, let's start off with you on this one.
All right, from the AFC, I got the Ravens and Chiefs. From the NFC, I got Niners, Eagles, and Cowboys, but only if they beat the Eagles on Sunday.
I got you. All right. And then who do you have winning it to go to the Super Bowl?
I've got Ravens and, well, early in this, before the season began, I thought it was going to be Chiefs, Eagles, Super Bowl, but now I'm looking at the teams, the Ravens, how they're doing. I'm going with Ravens and Eagles.
I like that pick. I mean, looking at the Ravens right now, too, it's going to be tough to beat them. Let's go over to you, Jared. Who you got for your Super Bowl teams?
I'm very similar to McCarthy. I have 4 teams. It's Eagles and Niners and Ravens and Chiefs. I think the problem is the Dolphins are too soft to beat any real team in the playoffs, and the Cowboys I feel like will cowboy their way out of this. I think it's going to be Eagles and it's going to be Ravens. You caught Philly on a bad night. Congrats, San Francisco. It's not going to happen again. With Baltimore, this is Lamar's day.
Yeah.
I think the addition of Zay Flowers is incredibly undertaken. Odell also, even if it's just his presence in the locker room as a reliable receiver, it's incredible how they're playing right now. One of these two teams is actually getting Zach Ertz, allegedly. So the best part about this is I think Baltimore, they find ways to win ball games, and they do it ugly. And that Baltimore defense just beats the piss out of teams. Also, we just talk about the fact Kendry Miller is just a fun running back to watch. But not Kendry Miller, their running back in Baltimore, whose name escapes me. But yes, the fast little one who is like lighting teams up. But
Jeremy, let's roll it over to you. Who do you got for your Super Bowl favorites?
I mean, my Super Bowl prediction is I have the Ravens and the Dolphins, and for the NFC, I have the 49ers and the Eagles. Then looking into the Super Bowl prediction, I'm actually going to throw a curveball. I have the 49ers and the Ravens here in this situation.
Okay, yeah.
Because I was thinking about like what you guys have said. We get down to crunch time, and what can these Super Bowl teams, or not Super Bowl teams, what can these teams do in clutch situations? And I think Mr. Irrelevant is finally going to get his purpose here, and I think the 49ers are going to win the Super Bowl, in my opinion. Josh, what about you? What do you have for your Super Bowl predictions?
We made our predictions on our show early in the season, before the season started, in the preseason, and I think it's all playing out exactly how I figured it would. I have a hard time going away from that prediction, and that is Chiefs-Eagles rematch from last year. And I think this year the Eagles have the upper hand. You saw that in the first matchup that we saw this past year. In this season. So I'm sticking with that, although the 49ers are scary. What we saw them do, and I do agree with you, Jared. I think they caught the Eagles on a down night. I do think the 49ers are scary. That defense, they're just a star-studded team, and hats off to their management too, because they have put together the dream team almost. I mean, there's not a whole lot that you really need to add there. I don't think you really need to add anything. You've got a Super Bowl team there, but I'm gonna lean towards the Eagles. I'm gonna pick the Chiefs and the Eagles to meet up again. It's just I have a hard time betting against Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce over there, and that offense I think is starting to find their feet, and they're starting to find their rhythm a little more. But their defense is really what's holding them together, and so I'm gonna stick with the Chiefs. Yeah, Ryan.
By the
Are
way,
you secretly
before
saying that you're a
McCarthy goes,
Swiftie and you just want to see the Chiefs in the Super Bowl?
I was hoping you wouldn't catch on to me, Ryan, but thanks for throwing it out there. I want to take off my sweatshirt and show off my Taylor
Christ,
Swift gear. Get the wig. Drop the
the
disco
real
ball.
Swift is DeAndre, but that's a whole other story.
If Taylor Swift shows up to the Super Bowl, I'm going to pick the Chiefs.
Hey.
But no, I'm just kidding.
Well,
If the
she's
Chiefs make it the
born
Super Bowl,
Eagles
they need to
fan,
have
so-
Taylor Swift do the halftime show.
Yeah, they should. That'd
Drop
be a
who
lot
they
more
have
fun.
now and just have Taylor Swift do it.
I think it's Neo.
Yeah,
Is
just
it?
go ahead and drop
Sure.
it
Yeah.
now. Who
I'm sure.
gives a shit?
Yeah. By the way,
I would rather
it's
Taylor
Keaton
Swift.
It's Keaton Mitchell, by the way. I
It should be
apologize to
Creed.
Keaton Mitchell for being
Yes.
an awesome running back this
Let it
year
be
and a
stained.
great flex option. By the way, Taylor Swift, born and raised Eagles fan, so that should let you know something right there.
That's true. It's been a proven commodity too. But before we get into MVP candidates, I do want to let everybody know, because we can take a little break, that this episode is sponsored by SeatGeek. We want to take a moment just to thank our friends over at SeatGeek. If you're a fan of live events, whether it's football like we're talking right now, any kind of sport really, or if it's music or theater, you know how challenging it can be to find the right tickets and the right price on those tickets. That's where SeatGeek comes into play. With a seamless experience, SeatGeek allows you to buy and sell tickets in just 2 taps. It doesn't get any simpler than that, guys. So, not only that, but it even gets better because SeatGeek has also made it very simple, and they've made an amazing color coding system from red to green. You've got red, yellow, and green to show you how great of a deal you're getting on the tickets that you're looking at. And so you look at the entire map on the SeatGeek app or at SeatGeek.com, and you can check out all the amazing deals that they've got for you. And plus, every purchase is fully guaranteed, so it gives you a complete peace of mind when you're picking up your tickets that they're going to be verified and that they are actually going to work when you go to scan them in. Now, we love SeatGeek so much that we've teamed up with them here at Belly Up, that we have given you guys an amazing offer because you can use code BELLYUPSPORTS. That's BELLYUPSPORTS. Just spell out Belly Up Sports. That's so much easier than me trying to spell it to you in person. So Belly Up Sports, that'll get you $20 off your next ticket purchase. Go check it out at SeatGeek.com or download the SeatGeek app today. It's an amazing way to find your tickets. SeatGeek is the way to go. But guys, let's get into our NFL MVP candidates. Right now, I looked up the odds. Right now, we're sitting at Brock Purdy plus 300, Jalen Hurts plus 350, Dak Prescott plus 350, Tua at plus 700, Lamar at plus 900, Pat Mahomes at plus 900. I'm not sure how he's still this high up. Tyreek at plus 1,600, and Christian McCaffrey at plus 1,600 as well, which is kind of shocking to me that Christian McCaffrey would be that low based on the kind of season that he's put together. But who are our MVP picks right now? If you don't want to narrow it down to one, maybe if you want to narrow it down to two, Jared, let's start off with you, man. Who do you got for your MVP picks right now?
I wouldn't touch Brock Purdy right now only because it's still running off the hype of the Eagles win last week. And to be fair, Ryan, I'm waiting
To be
for
fair,
there it is. All right. He also, all of his touchdowns were thrown either against safeties or backup linebackers last week. Let's pump the brakes on Brock for MVP. He's had a great season. Don't get me started. I think if we're going to go off quarterback stats alone, Dak Prescott deserves the award. I think the most valuable player on that Niners team is Christian McCaffrey. That man is a touchdown machine. He's an instant 5 yards a carry. The problem is it is a quarterback award. So Dakota Prescott is kind of my lean for this because he's played out of his goddamn mind since day one. I'm picking a Cowboys player to win an MVP. I would love for Jalen to win. I would love for Pat to win. Lamar. It's going to be Dak. Unless Dak falls off a cliff the next 5 weeks. Because here's the thing. The Brock hype was only because he beat Philly. He threw 4 touchdowns. But 80% of those were run after catch throws. It was looking like a college game. Like, it was a college route. It got bad. It was just a bad read. Do not put that much stock in this game. I put stock in Dak having Arena Football League numbers. And that's what I would vote for. He's not going to win a Super Bowl. He's probably not going to win more than one, like even a playoff game. He might win one, but he's going to get run into a buzzsaw, either that be Philadelphia or San Fran in the next round. But he's still going to, you know what? Dak has played his ass off this year. Unfortunately, his team ain't to the competition he is. So, Dak, congratulations. You've earned an MVP this year.
Yeah, I like that pick from an Eagles fan too, just showing how you're willing to put that
Dude,
bias
I was
aside.
blown away by how he played against us a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean
holy
he really has played a lot better. I think he probably stands a chance for most likely to get it. But Jeremy, who are you standing there with? Who do you think you're going to pick for the MVP favorite?
I mean, I want to throw this name out there. I know I'm probably going to get a lot of backlash about this, but
You will.
oh, I know you especially. I know I'll get a shit ton of backlash.
I don't know who you're going towards, but
Are you? I'm surprised that. I mean, you didn't list his name off. Lamar Jackson?
yeah, I threw him in there. He's
You
at plus
did?
900.
Oh, I didn't hear you.
Yeah, plus
I was
900.
probably off in the space. But I mean, realistically, I wouldn't be surprised with see how he keeps progressing towards the end of the season here. Like if he keeps performing the way that he has been, like I know we've obviously seen Lamar Jackson have his injury problems, and it's just been a reoccurring situation to where we've seen Lamar Jackson just get an injury problem, and then all of a sudden, the moments where he doesn't play, shit hits the fan, and then the time that he does play, it is in those situations to where he's getting good. However, he doesn't have Andrews here in this situation. I don't know how long, or is he going to be done for the year? Or
I think
is
he's
he,
done for the
he's
year
done
based on
for
what
the
he had.
year.
Okay. In this situation, because I was kind of surprised. Like, I'm not trying to be biased, but Patrick Mahomes was up there, but he was higher up there. That was kind of surprising to me a little bit. But,
That's just in Vegas odds too.
yeah, that's
so.
obviously just for Vegas reason. But hell, they already take enough of our money. So I mean, what does Vegas know? But I mean, in this situation, like, I honestly kind of want to go a little bit of Lamar Jackson here at this situation.
I like the pick. I mean, he's got a team that's performing better.
Exactly.
So maybe his stats don't show what Dak Prescott does. Bless you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he's got a team that's performing.
Yeah,
But
I mean that's coming from a Bengals fan too, and I absolutely can't stand Baltimore, but with how they're playing this year, I mean,
so we got two guys picking against their team for their MVP favorite. I
Joe
like
Burrow's
this.
done. So
I like
shit,
this.
Who
It
knows?
doesn't get you a
Yeah.
ring. Nobody
Yeah,
cares
you know
about
what? Well, but you know what? I'm giving it to Belly Up. We're choosing against our teams. That's pretty tough to do. So I like that, guys. I like that.
Listen,
but
we gotta
Ryan,
give. It's not their fault. Their teams are run by morons. It's not their fault.
No shit.
Ryan, how you feeling about the MVP race? Who's your favorite to win the MVP?
Zach Wilson, baby.
Yeah.
And that's it, folks. Good night.
And good night. I'm actually kind of shocked that Christian McCaffrey's odds are the way that they're that high at the season that he's having. He's top 4 or 5 in rushing right now. He's got total touchdowns. He's got 17 total touchdowns, 12 rushing touchdowns, 5 receiving touchdowns. I'm shocked that his odds are that low. That being said, though, I think my top MVP candidate, and I hate to say this because he's the Dolphins, Tyreek Hill.
Really?
I put him in consideration for MVP
I like it.
just because of the season he's having. He could be the first. He could be the first wide receiver. He said before the season, "I'm going to be the first wide receiver to break the 2,000-yard mark," and he's on his way to do that. And for a guy who could do that, who could achieve that mark, be the first one to do that, I got to give him the MVP award for that. So, granted, he doesn't suffer a catastrophic injury over the next 5 weeks, and I hope he doesn't. I want to see history made. I think Tyreek Hill gets the MVP in my mind.
Yeah, I like that pick too, and kind of going a little off script of what all of us have picked too. But I'm kind of right there with you. I'm looking at Christian McCaffrey. I like those plus 1,600 odds, and I'll take those. I mean, just because I think his team, when you talk about a guy who's putting up the stats and showing the individual, it's an individual award. So showing the individual capability to perform, I do agree with Jared. It's a quarterback award. It just is, and so it's going to be really hard for him to win it. That's why I have a hard time picking Tyreek. Although I'm kind of right there with you. I like the underdog pick with Tyreek. And he's sitting there at plus 1,600 as well. But I think a running back has more of a chance than a wide receiver just because the running back does play a little bit more of an integral part than a wide receiver because you've got one running back for the most part. Of course, you have a third down back or whatever the case may be as well. But for the most part, you have your one main back that you're going to, and so I think that leans a little more in the running back's favor in order to get that award. It's going to be tough to beat any of the quarterbacks. I think if you take, we've got Brock Purdy, Jalen Hurts, Dak Prescott, Tua Tagovailoa, Lamar Jackson, and Patrick Mahomes all listed up there above these two guys. But Christian McCaffrey is my favorite to pick it. If I'm the one choosing the award, I pick Christian McCaffrey. My prediction is probably along the lines of Dak Prescott if he can keep it up. But I'm cheering on Christian McCaffrey. I've liked him since his Stanford days and seeing what he was able to do. He's an amazing player, and now he's just adding on to what he's been able to do. Him being added to the San Francisco 49ers was absolutely amazing. But it's going to be a fun race. I think we're going to have a close one between Dak and Jalen. I think that's going to be a close race there, and then of course everyone else filling in around him. I think is going to kind of play into it, and I think Brock has a very good chance if they keep on winning, just because people are going to see the wins add up for him.
Rise up corn crops in Iowa.
Yeah, but I think Brock Purdy's another guy too that's very easy to root for, especially with the underdog story. But I guess
Definitely.
you guys have anything else on the MVP candidates?
I mean, it's. I think we kind of covered everything. I think it really is going to come down to if Dak is, I think, the leader in the clubhouse. Everyone wants to ignore it because he's a Cowboys quarterback.
I agree.
Statistically, man, and also on tape, holy shit, he's just out of this world this year.
Night and day difference.
I watch more film than I want to admit sometimes, and every time I watch Dakota Prescott, man, every time I look at him, Rain Dakota Prescott, he's dropping bombs on teams, and it's just.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, listen, everyone's giving CD Lamb all this top 10 receiver credit. It's not CD, it's Dak. He's throwing CD open, and it's
I think CD. I mean, you watch how CD runs his routes, and I'm putting the talent to CD. I think Dak has been playing extremely well, though. I'm not disagreeing with you, but CD is absolutely
a bias there, Josh.
It's 100% Oklahoma bias, but but you can watch the film. Watch him. If you just watch CD and how he runs his routes, the dude is one of the shiftiest current players right now. I'd put him. I think Stephon Diggs is another one. That Stephon Diggs looks like he's dancing the way he runs routes.
What about Jamar Chase?
I think Jamar Chase is just really speedy,
and my boy
he just
Slim
makes
Reaper.
such fast cuts. Yeah, another one. Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of wide receivers to throw up there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, CD's definitely. I would say CD might be like a top 5 route runner. I'm not going to say top 5.
He's been doing this for 3 years. Dak's incredible run is this year, so Dak is the change.
Yeah,
that's why they're so good.
Third time's the
charm.
charm.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think CD's numbers are increased because Dak's doing better. That's where I do agree with you. But let's jump over to the MVP of college football. This is probably all we're going to get to in college football tonight, just because we had a lot to talk about, guys. But we're going to touch on college football. We've got the Heisman ceremony coming up. We've got 4 guys that it comes down to. We've got Michael Penix Jr., Bo Nix, Jaden Daniels, and Marvin Harrison Jr. 4 guys, outstanding year for all 4 of them, and by far the front runners. I don't think these candidates were bad picks. I don't think you can swap any 4 of these guys out for their trip to New York. I think they all deserve it. I wish Jordan Travis could have gotten his trip to New York. I know he didn't get to finish out his year, but my heart's out for the guy. I hate to see him, any kind of QB or any kind of player with his talent, go down to an injury. Okay. That's not within your control. But with these 4 guys, you got Michael Penix Jr., Bo Nix, Jaden Daniels, and Marvin Harrison Jr. Who are you guys' pick for Heisman winner this season? Because I think you've got 4 guys that's really tough to pick between. But who is your ultimate winner? Jeremy, we'll start off with you because I know we've talked a lot about these Heisman candidates.
I mean, I'm not saying this to be biased. Bo who? Bo freaking Heisman, baby. I mean, Bo Nix, he's absolutely been tearing up Oregon. And, I mean, just the way that I've watched Bo Nix play this year, sincerely, it's just seemed like he's just been on a whole new level here, in my opinion. Like, take it for granted, when they went against Washington, they weren't able to get the W out of the situation. But, like, Bo Nix in this situation, he has put up stupid, unbelievable numbers. shit. I mean, it seemed like I said this I can't remember if it was last episode or a couple episodes ago, that it seems like he puts up over 300 plus yards per game is what it sincerely feels like here. In this situation, I sincerely think Bo Heisman is truly going to shine. I'm really sad he didn't stick the Heisman pose here, but I mean, at the end of the day, Bo Heisman, baby. Josh, what do you got to say?
Yeah, I mean, I like the pick. It's hard for me to pick against the man that beat him twice. But so I'll throw mine out there. I'm picking Michael Penix Jr., the lefty out of Washington, transfers from Indiana, injury prone, goes with his coach Kalen DeBoer, goes to Washington, has an outstanding first year there. Now he comes back this year. And he's put his team in a position to win a national championship now. Undefeated, 13-0, outstanding couple of seasons from Washington under Kalen DeBoer, and seeing what he's been able to put up. I think he's put up similar, not as good as Bo Nix. He's put similar stats to Bo Nix. I think it really comes down to Michael Penix Jr. and Jaden Daniels when you really think about this award and who's going to be the favorite. And I think ultimately, I just have a gut feeling like they're going to pick Jaden Daniels, and I don't think he deserves it because his team is not a winning team. They're not to say they're not a winning team, but they're not winners when it comes to championships the way that Washington has won this season. So personally, I'm picking Michael Penix, plus you just watch his film and seeing everything that he can do. But Jared, let's jump over to you, man. Who's your Heisman pick, man?
Well, I got to agree with my Belly Up After Dark co-host here, Mr. Josh Muller. I have to go with Michael Penix. I have been a big Michael Penix fan since probably September. Everything except his delivery has me awestruck. I agree with you in the sense that it's not Jaden Daniels' fault, though.
No, not totally.
I think it's Brian Kelly being a horrible head coach and a two-time murderer of children. That being said, I took a Kevin from Tailgate and the Quad joke there. My biggest thing with Michael Penix is just everything is just pinpoint accurate, drops in the bucket.
He does, man.
Never is afraid in the moment. I think Daniel's biggest problem is he plays for LSU. He plays for Brian.
It absolutely is.
That's his biggest problem. If he played at Alabama, Miami, Oklahoma, USC, it don't matter. He's running away with this because he's playing out of his damn mind. But the problem is unfortunately Brian Kelly's a doofus, and they lost 3-4 games. So that's what's going to kill him in these odds, in my opinion. I think Penix runs away with this. I can't pick Bo Nix because I watched Bo Nix lose to Penix twice.
Yeah,
I think Bo Nix is the fourth place guy in this vote. I think he was a legacy because he's played 6,000 years in college football.
So that's kind of where I stand. I think Marvin Harrison Jr. is only going to be the fourth place vote just because he's a wide receiver. I love the dude.
Third place. I think he's earned.
I hope you're right.
Spot. If you want my honest God opinion, like 9mm gun to my head, right? Penix, Daniels, Harrison, Nix. I think Nix's performance in the Rose Bowl in the Pac-12 championship game where he wasn't able to perform in the last drive as the favorite is going to cost him. He's going to be the fourth place voter. There's a lot of recency bias. We've seen it a lot in these Heisman votes. I think Nix is going to take the shotgun shell on this one. He's going to be the fourth place vote.
Ryan, what are you feeling on the Heisman world here?
So, truth be told, I haven't really paid attention a whole lot to the college football this year.
I know you're a pro guy, so I'll give you some slack. I'm a pro
guy. But I don't know if you remember, Josh, back in September, maybe August. Mm-hmm. I chimed in on one of your live programs from whichever university you were broadcasting from, and I asked about Michael Penix. I said, "Do you think Michael Penix could be a dark horse Heisman candidate?"
He's been one of my picks from the beginning of the year, man.
And you did say, I think you could win the Heisman Trophy. And I'm going to agree with you because just based on his resume, he's the only player on this in the Final Four who won a conference title, who ran the table on their schedule. And from what I've seen, he's been the best college football player in the country, hands down. Bo Nix, great resume, but you lost to Penix twice. Marvin Harrison, another great resume, but unfortunately, this is more of a quarterback's award. Jalen Daniels, I actually would have swapped him out for Blake Corum because the Michigan offense drives through what Blake Corum does on the field if he can score, if he can get in the end zone.
I like that.
But for my money, it's going to be future New York Jets quarterback Michael Penix for the Heisman this year.
I like it. I like it a lot. Yeah, I mean, looking at Penix, I think he's got a rocket. I mean, he's got a cannon for an arm.
Yeah.
And I think his leadership for this team too. And the reason why I brought him up since the beginning of the season, and I think even from the beginning of the season, I said it was going to come down between him and I know Blake on our show kept on talking about Bo Nix, and even leading up to that game, I said it's going to be the winner between these two in the Pac-12 championship game, and I'm sticking to my guns in that. And like I said, I think winning does matter. I think if you're a 9-win team, your quarterback, it just doesn't say as much. And like you said, Jared, it's not his fault completely. Their defense was absolutely atrocious this year. And Jaden Daniels, I like the fact that he's going to New York because I feel bad that he's not a 10-plus win team because of his defense. And that's not anything of his fault. And he's put up amazing stats this year. And so I do think he deserves number 2, even on this list, number 3 on this list at the very bottom. And really only because Marvin Harrison Jr. didn't have a top-tier quarterback, I don't think. Kyle McCord is a good quarterback. He's not a great quarterback. And I stand by that.
He's an Bo Nix. He's going to transfer around 4 or 5 different times, play 12 years of college football, and, be average.
Kyle McCord over to Nebraska is what I'm hearing right now. So, it's not a great move for him if he's trying to win games.
Right,
you're
about to go 6-6.
My buddy James, who's a big Nebraska fan from Nebraska, he would approve.
Well, my dad and my brother are both big Nebraska fans, and so I know both. At least my dad. I know my dad's very hardcore. My brother wants Will Howard for some weird reason. It's just Will Howard's a decent little system quarterback down at K-State. I don't think he's that great. I would definitely take Kyle McCord.
Okay, so I'm part of Miami Hurricanes Twitter. Apparently, we want Malik Murphy or die is what we want. I don't know how that's working, but apparently that's what Miami wants. I don't know how. I'm just gonna sit here
Based
and
on
watch
what
the
we
Fireworks.
saw. I don't know how that's gonna work.
I don't know, Josh. Okay, Hurricanes fans are fucking stupid. We are the most delusional bunch on the planet.
They're almost as bad as Philadelphia Eagles fans, man. I tell you what.
Buddy, we got to do another 20-something of these shows the next 6 months.
Damn.
And you want to start it early? Buddy, you can't run to Jeremy for co-host. I'm your co-host on this one. You have to realize you got to live with this.
Hey,
we also run the podcast department together. Come on.
We do.
Hey,
it's all out of love.
Pick up Kyle McCord. He can get better at throwing the football and he can get better at shucking corn.
We just dropped one soft white boy quarterback. Why would we want another?
No, I mean, I think if you're going to go, I mean, look at a guy like Cam Ward or something like that.
I'll take Cam Ward all day.
I'm drawing a blank. The backup Oregon State quarterback, not DJU.
He's going to Michigan State. He's going to Michigan State.
That's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm hearing. But what if DJU goes over there?
Shit.
DJU is going to go to DJU might go to Oklahoma. Honestly.
No, he's definitely not coming to Oklahoma.
Oklahoma's
got their
State
guy
or something.
Oklahoma's got 2 or 3 guys in the room right now. Really,
so you're not really heartbroken with Dylan Gabriel dipping.
Well, see, Oklahoma fans expected him to go to the NFL
because he's following the head coach,
and so now, I don't think he is. Now with him transferring, it's more or less that the Oklahoma told him, hey, we expected you to be done this year, and so if you want to play again, you're going to have to be a grad transfer. We've got Jackson Arnold, and it's Jackson Arnold era, but that's pretty much all we got, guys. We should probably wrap it up. I know we said we were going to keep it around the hour mark. We're pretty close there. We kept it pretty good. But for everybody watching, please make sure to hit that subscribe button. You can help us grow here on the Belly Up YouTube page. You'll see a lot more of us here. Like we said before, too, you can join us here on Belly Up After Dark every first Thursday of each month. We are going to make sure that we do our best to keep this thing rolling and keep it going. So you can join us on every first Thursday of every month, and that's going to be at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 8 p.m. Central Time. Check us out and tune in next month. But you can also hit that like button. That's another great way to help us out, and comment down below. You can follow us on all social media platforms, Belly Up Sports. Check us out and stick around. We thank you guys all. I guess before we leave, let's go ahead and go around the horn. Jeremy and I are from Rising to the Occasion. You can find us here on Belly Up Sports or over on Rising to the Occasion on YouTube. risingto.com, risingto.com. Ryan, where can we find your stuff?
You can find us on our socials, which Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at NoCurdsREQ.
What's Twitter?
Facebook.com I don't call it X. It's a stupid name.
I'm only a month old.
Facebook.com /NoCurdsREQ. YouTube.com /at NoCurdsREQ. We are trying to drive for 500. We're at 335 subscribers. So if you'll be kind and subscribe, got some great material. And look, this past week, Josh and I reviewed Lady Ballers on a YouTube video. So it was great. It's a great movie. I'm going to watch it again tomorrow probably because I'm home tomorrow for just to chill out. So I'll watch Lady Ballers tomorrow. It'll be fun. But yeah, go to our social media channels. Great material. Dustin and I go live every Tuesday or Wednesday during the NFL season, and other videos sparsely here and there for 10 good minutes. Just talk about random sports topics. So tune on in.
No credentials required. A great show, man. And then Jared, my Belly Up cohort, my co-host for Belly Up After Dark, the man that we are working together as a team to make Belly Up the greatest sports network of all time. How you doing, and where can we find your stuff, man?
Well, Josh, I appreciate the fact that you texted me at 4:30 in the afternoon to get the start. I was like, you know what? Fuck, I got about an hour and a half cooking to do after the show's over, but sure not. You can find me on X at
that a boy
Cornbooth Pod, and you can find me at Cornbooth Jared as well on everything else except X, where Belly Up does not. Elon apparently doesn't want me to switch Twitter name, so I'm Belly Up Jared on that. Yeah, we do live shows every Thursday. Actually, before this show, Cornbooth Pregame, which is the new guinea pig show for the we'll be live on Belly Up Sports' podcast network, as well as replays on Cornbooth's YouTube channel and Cornbooth's Twitter. We also do Monday shows as well, which are always a little more reserved and a little more strategy and a little more relaxed, whereas our Thursday shows get a little out of control. 9/11 jokes and Sean McDermott being a dipshit aside. That being said, we appreciate you guys for coming through, and for myself and Josh, always it was a pleasure resurrecting this. Thank you for helping me keep this alive. I tried doing this back in July, and it was less of get myself doing it, more of acquiring guests and having somebody to run this with me, because honestly, doing this by myself was a fucking nightmare. So I appreciate you and helping me keep this alive, because honestly, I don't think this is a third resurrection. I keep this as a last second buzzer beater to get this back in the game. So
and I wouldn't even say it was necessarily resurrection. It was just keeping it alive, and it was a long extended period of time there, but we're keeping it alive.
A last second Hail Mary to keep us in the game. And honestly, I think this is a great first show.
I'm assuming Ryan likes The Office.
Oh my God.
CPR, man.
I knew the reference.
Tear the skin off a goddamn dummy, I'm going home.
I knew the reference. No, but yeah, everybody, Belly Up has had an amazing 2023. We're getting really close to 2024. We're going to be pushing a lot of big things in the work for Belly Up that we all know about here, and that we're really excited for you guys to find out. So please stick around, and you can also go over to bellyupsports.com to find everything that we do here. But guys, we thank you all so much for tuning in, for helping us out and helping us grow. Until next time.